Bitcoin, what it is, the best monetary technology ever produced is the fact that you don't have to worry about it being debased because it has finite scarcity. With Bitcoin, it's all cryptographically locked up, cold storage, etc. And you just have to share the public key and people can send the digital gold right into multi-jurisdictional, multi-sig.
Gold might have been the king of money for centuries, but in the digital age, it's losing its luster. Bitcoin isn't just a new technology, it's the ultimate upgrade to how we think about money. But what makes Bitcoin outshine gold in the modern world? Let's dive into the real story.
So Bitcoin, what it is, the best monetary technology ever produced. And to understand that, we need to understand that, money itself is not something that generates some other good. Money is a special kind of good. So there's consumer goods and there's capital goods, generally speaking. It's something that you get so that you can consume it, some food or entertainment or some kind of product, and then there's capital goods, which are goods that produce other goods. Money is neither of them. Money is a special good that we use specifically for trading for other goods. And so what Bitcoin, by virtue of being the greatest monetary technology ever, it best supplies what money is meant to supply, which is certainty in an uncertain future. So all of us have to deal with the fact that we don't know what's going to happen in the future. And because of that, we want to have some way of dealing with all of the potential weirdness that we have to deal with, whether it's good or bad, good opportunities or, bad situation. You always want to be prepared to deal with everything. And Bitcoin offers that certainty because of the fact that it is an extremely reliable network that has all kinds of properties from, the classic, divisibility, transportability, and so on and so forth. And we can get into the details of that. But basically what it actually offers is that certainty going into an uncertain future. That's certainly one of the major kind of uncertainties that Bitcoin relieves, is the fact that you don't have to worry about it being debased because it has, finite scarcity. As far as the different ways that people kind of get confused, I don't think they think about money that way. It's, to me, money seems pretty straightforward. It's exactly that. It's a hedge against future uncertainty. But that itself takes a lot to unpack. And the way that people generally think about money tends to be just in what they're doing day to day. It's like Bitcoin and money in general is actually solving that problem. But people usually just think on it at the sort of surface level of the act of the problem being solved instead of what problem is being solved, if that makes sense. So I think that's a big hang up for people, and it takes some time and thinking to kind of dig back and think through that. And so despite the fact that the actual final answer for what is money is rather simple, it does take a lot to unpack what all of that is. I think specifically with some things, so you have a lot of gold bug types, people who want to, return to a gold standard. They want to see gold reintroduced money because classically it was the harvest money, and it powered a lot of great economic development, so on and so forth. A lot of those people get hung up, I think, on sort of some wrong properties of gold within their analyses. That is to say, they understand the scarcity, divisibility, fungibility, all these kinds of great things about gold, but then they also get hung up by, and I'm specifically thinking in terms of the physicality. So I think they often mistake the physicality of gold versus the digital nature of Bitcoin as being an advantage, and one that for Bitcoin doesn't make any sense. But I would argue that that's actually a benefit to Bitcoin because of the fact that it allows for types of transportability and storage and security and so on and so forth that the physicality of gold actually holds back. A great example of this, two great examples. One, like I said, transportability. You can send it instantly online anywhere in the world. And sending it to your neighbor is just as easy as sending it to someone who's literally on the other side of the planet. And that is an incredible feat. And you cannot do that with gold. Gold is very heavy. You have to physically carry it somewhere. With gold, if you're storing it, it all has to go in one big gold vault. And historically, if you're in a war and stuff like that, that's where you go first. When you invade your enemy, it's like you're going to go straight for that gold. And we see that time and time again throughout history. history. And obviously that happens at a small scale too. People rob houses and so on and so forth. And Bitcoin has things like multi-sig, and that's by virtue of the fact that it's digital. And so the uncertainty of security, like making sure because if we go back to, let me finish that. Basically, because we can split up keys, you don't have to have it all physically in one place.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is an incredible boon. And likewise, it's like you don't even have to open the vault to put the money in, which is something very interesting. With Bitcoin, it's all cryptographically locked up, cold storage, etc. And you just have to share the public key, and people can send the digital gold right into a multi-jurisdictional, multi-sig. There are uncertainties that gold faces, the costs of dealing with the gold and the uncertainties of dealing with gold that Bitcoin is able to overtake. It's like it has like a sort of absolute advantage in many ways, and that is just an incredible thing. But because they get caught up, because they like the feeling of holding something, they're used to growing up where more people use dollar bills as well. So money is a very physical thing. When you make it big, you get to riffle through your stack of Benjamin. You don't get to do that with Bitcoin. I think they place too much emphasis on certain properties that I think more thought about what is actually being solved by those properties can show us that Bitcoin actually does a better job of addressing these problems from a sort of economic and engineering point of view.
Gold enthusiasts often praise its scarcity, tangibility, and historical significance. Yet, these very qualities now serve as its weaknesses. Transporting gold is cumbersome, verifying its authenticity requires expensive equipment, and centralization for trust leaves it vulnerable to theft and manipulation. On the other hand, Bitcoin's digital nature solves these age-old problems. It's portable, allowing transactions across the globe within seconds. As Bitstein explains, Bitcoin isn't just a digital currency, it's a revolution in monetary technology. Unlike gold, it eliminates the inefficiencies of physical assets and allows individuals to fully control their wealth without intermediaries. Stick around as we uncover why this is the most significant shift in money since the creation of currency itself.
The quote gold standard in assaying gold and making sure it's real gold, you have to literally take gold bar or gold coin, melt it down, and then use one of those machines to be doing all sorts of chemical analysis on it. And then you have to restrike it into the coin or the bar in order to know that, oh, this one is actually gold. This is many reasons. Like I've seen before people criticize Bitcoin in reference to like you have things like the London, I'm blanking on the exact name, but basically the London Gold Exchange. And there's certain things around, where people, what those are doing is saying they are able to produce a recognizable form of a coin or a bar so that you can trust it enough. It's like you can sort of offload the trust a bit and just assume that gold bar is fine because it has the right stamp on it, because otherwise it would just be too expensive. And things like that, they aren't like good in and of themselves. It's that you needed to do that because it was the only way to sort of quote scale metals usage. But when you have Bitcoin and anyone can run a node, suddenly that whole class of problem is completely gone because all of that is happening automatically under the hood. And so these things that we sort of took for granted, we just simply don't need them anymore. So I think, for instance, there is a lot of what's called chartalism in the fiat world, and this is basically the basic idea is that money is something that originates states rather than the marketplace. Whereas sort of the Austrian theory of money would argue that it arises from the market, basically as a natural process of people dealing with those uncertainties and so on and so forth. So they have a natural inclination to find the good that works among them, much in the same way sort of language develops. But some of the things that but most people are not even walking around even thinking about that word chartalism. It's just sort of in the water in many ways. They're used to using money with dead presidents on them or some other sort of national emblem. And because of that, they associate, because of the modern forms of currency, they heavily associate those monies with the nation state. And so it's like, oh, it originates with the nation state. And I think this shows the same process. So, people having to stamp their own coins.
Gold may symbolize wealth and tradition, but Bitcoin redefines what money should be in a fast-paced, interconnected world. Bitstein's insights challenge us to reconsider the fundamental problems money solves and how Bitcoin offers better answers. Understanding Bitcoin's potential is crucial in navigating the uncertainties of the future. Don't let outdated systems limit your financial freedom. Bitcoin is here to change everything. The future of money is digital. Are you ready?